The second round of the Integrity Ignite Series clash is here and now. After an exciting event full of turmoil last time we went racing, we are here at Michigan International Speedway, the fastest track in the Northeast, to get the qualifying for the round of 8 in full swing to see who will be your final championship contenders in a few races time. Right now, Rob Ackley going to be on your frame. He's the man who got it done in the opener to this season's clash, and he's been Mr. Opener all season long, winning at Daytona and eventually coming through for the first win of the clash. And now he might be the man to beat. He's provisional pole position as it stands here in the 2-mile circuit in Brooklyn, Michigan. This is the 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200, and it is qualifying with 7 minutes and 54 seconds on the board. Right now, Ackley leads the field, including Anthony DeBarro, Michael Stroll, Boomer Logan himself, Chris Gubeau, Cody Smith, Jacob Fife, and Don Stevenson as Carson Bato going to be last man on the top 10 at the moment. Gael Brooks going to be in the second spot as it stands, and that number 71 machine, we had to recollect our data, and it'll be much clearer to the viewers now. He is one of the drivers in the clash. How do you know? Well, he's got the orange and black in his driver information tonight. If these drivers are not in the clash, they will have red and black. Instead, it's going to be orange and black for the drivers still contending for the championship, and we will update this as the season goes on and we get down to the final round, the round of 8. Gubeau, as is, in that number 54 machine, going to be position number 10, as 20 drivers have taken times and 10 more have not. Looking to have a field of about 30 strong here. Braxton Deweese going to be able to get on his way in that number 15. Going to be Alec Daffin in position number 22 at the moment, and Matthew Thunhorst going to be right behind him. Thunhorst looking to have a rebound night. The driver of that number 8 machine certainly not happy with how it went down last time we went racing. Of course, pole position. He was able to start all the way up in front, and right now he's in third on the board in qualifying, but got wrecked on the first lap of action. So right now, looking to get it all set up for a much better night. It is Thunhorst back on the move in that number 8 machine. And of course, he had another inflected accident with the number 27 machine itself. Anthony DeBarro, one of the fastest drivers in the last few races, however, has not been able to make it work at the checkered flag. Getting caught up in incidents early, that has been how it's gone for every most recent run in that 27 operation. And right now, Rob Ackley going to be 6th on the board. Gael Brooks going to be in 7th as Cody Smith is position number 8. 9th on the board going to be Thomas Bressie. 10th is Jacob Fife, with Alan Dobbs in 11th at the moment, and then Don Stevenson in 12th. 27 of 29 drivers registered have taken a lap, last of which will be Braxton Deweese with 5 minutes remaining, and Trevor Tragle has not yet gone on the track with the number 37 machine. So with all these drivers getting their times in right now, you beg to ask the question, who is the quickest here at Michigan? Right now, it is not open and shut case. Alec Daffin, top man on the board, going to be able to go to pole position with his qualifying effort for now, and it might just be locked up. He's in front of Michael Stroll by 25 thousandths of a second as he comes out of the stripe this time by not going to be able to improve it, but still on the top spot no matter what. So he's in the prime position to start with the clean air in front of everybody else, and unless Braxton Deweese or Trevor Tragle can do anything about it, that looks to be where he'll stay. That time by, Deweese ran a 48-second lap. That's going to be about 10 seconds off pace. So 10 seconds, he'll have to build back up from there. And he seems to be much quicker than that, but not as quick as his all-time fastest lap. Still putting the warmth in those tires as he comes down the backstretch this time by. Camera shaking from other drivers on the track. And number 15 now going to go right by and have it all pan. Will it pan out his way, though? Not quite sure as he comes through the final 2 turns at Michigan, USA. He's going to be the penultimate qualifying attempt as Cal Filarski joins with 4 minutes remaining on the board. It's going to be another lap in for Deweese, this time by to time 1 position number 21 for Braxton that time through, and with 4 minutes remaining on the board, he still has a ways to go to find himself as a contender for the pole position. This time by, there looks to be several tenths of a second quicker as he comes down with much more speed. This could be Braxton's best run yet, not just in practice but in qualifying as well, as he comes in one more time right on board with the number 15 machine and find out where he is. Middle seam goes a bit up high, lets it wash up, and then comes down low, right to the apron, cuts all the distance, and at the line, right by the blue infield section of the grass. Going to be Braxton Weiss going up to the 14th spot on that lap. Best he can do with 3 minutes and 39 seconds remaining. Now going to be Trevor Trago on his way, waiting for every other driver to get their qualifying run out the way for him to go on. Right now, Joe Dinsmore 28th and last on the timing charts is the lowest driver in the clash to have a time lap, and although that is the case, Trevor Trago, as it stands, is due to be behind him if he doesn't get a lap in. He's 30th out of 30 at the moment, but he is getting off of pit road right now and warming up his tires just a bit. However, it looks like Trago making a very slow ride into, of course, his qualifying run. Now the 37 machine gets back on the way on pit road as it stands. Brian McFerrin going to be 26 on the charts, and McFerrin getting out one more time, perhaps as one more lap in that number 7. Been very quick as of recent, contending in the top 5, top 10. Misfortune found him last week, but this week could be a turning point. Although he is 26 on the grid right now, he is one of those drivers who has a tendency to race his way up and find himself as a contender when it all means much more. It's not about how you start or where you start, it's about where you finish. And right now for Brian McFerrin, he knows where he wants to finish. We'll find out whether or not the number 7 machine can hold on for his first win of the season. Comes around this time by one more warm-up lap for the man in that number 7 machine. Going to be a maximum of what appears to be 4 timed efforts for every driver. Casey Shue on pit road. Looks like he had an incident on his final attempt as McFerrin makes it through. This time by gets it right down low on his corner exit, gets it in the earlier segment in the middle seam, and then goes at it 100% throttle, lets the power do the work for him and lets the steering do the rest. As they come down the stretch one more time, Krista Weiss in chat, thank you for stopping by as the Brian McFerrin machine makes its way around one final time, and he might just be the final driver to take a lap here in qualifying, short of a driver like Cal Filarski, who was yet to go on the track overall. McFerrin down the line this time by, going to be a 39.497 improvement, but not enough. Stays in 26th. Brian McFerrin does. And with that being said, no other driver running laps besides the number 7 machine. And it looks like as it is, he's going to be able to back it down this time by. Comes down to the stripe, and it's going to be at a much slower pace if he does at all, as Brian McFerrin done with his qualifying run. 26th will do. As it stands, 2 drivers have yet to take a time lap, and if they were to go, they would have to be Alec Daffin's hot lap of a 38.952. So with that being said, no other driver is going to be taking a qualifying run here in Michigan, and we'll get to your starting grid immediately. Going to be 30 drivers registered for this session. A perfect round number to get us all rounded up, as we have the 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200 right in front of us. And for those tuning in right now, I'm your host for tonight's broadcast, David Croix. Great to have you here as I'm leading the production and commentary staff for tonight's operation. The Canadian flag waving in front of the American flag there. Both flags, of course, very close Michigan is to both countries. And tonight, it doesn't matter where you're from, you can put on a great show. I know that Brandon Wenger, one of the Canadians in this field, so a bit of home track representation on the American front, as many of the drivers here are Americans. But no matter where you are from, as we said, you're here on this grid if you're racing in the second round of the Integrity Ignite Series Clash, and that is the 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200. So without further ado, let's get right into your starting grid for tonight's event, and it's going to be led by that number 1 machine in position number 1 for the first time here in qualifying. Alec Daffin leading the drivers in the Clash, and it's an all-orange inside line with that Clash, 38.952 for the usually Shaw Racing number 1 machine. Right now, top spot by Michael Stroll, who's going to be in second. They're both oh so close on pace, only 200ths of a second separate them, and Stroll has a 38.976 for his number 38 machine. Going to be Matthew Thunhorst then in the third position, has a 38.983 for him, and that's going to be Chad Cole, position number 4 after a very strong run last time we went at it, and 39.015 for the 17. Then it's going to be position number 5 for Don Stevenson, 39.02, 7,000 to drift from him. Getting Cody Smith in the 18 in that 6th spot, and Thomas Bressy there in position number 7, 39.028, 1,000th off of the Super 6. Anthony Navarro going to be in the Great 8, 39.050 in position number 8. Indeed, then we have an all-clash inside and outside row number 5. Defending winner Rob Ackley with 39.065 right there in 9th, and Gael Brooks going to be in 10th, 39.0 7 from there on out. Going to be Chris Gabeau in 11th, 39.108. Then Alan Dobbs in 12th, 39.116. Jacob Fife going to be position number 13 with 39.127. And Braxton Luis will be in 14th with a 39.133. Boomer Logan, position number 15, 39.164. Your sponsor for tonight's event. And Carson Bechtel going to be there in 16th, 39.173. As 6,000th away from him on the timing and scoring sheets. Cody Griffin going to be in 17th, 39.179. Then Brandon Bernhardt going to be in 18th, 39.185. And Brandon Wenger, one of our only Canadians in the grid, 19th, 39.204. With Forrest Smith 20th with 39.214 as well. Let's go to the final few drivers on the grid. DJ Stagner going to be right there, 39.241 in 21st. Nick Tarbuck going to be 39.277 in 22nd. And Kyle Cooper going to be in 23rd with Casey Shue in 24th. Brad Patton going to be in 25th, and then Brian McFerrin in 26th, as Jonathan Gearbrands in 27th, and Joe Dinsmore, final driver with a time on the board, is 28th. Trevor Traeger going to be 29th, and Cal Filarski going to be 30th, and riding shotgun on the field, as that will be your starting grid for tonight's event here in Michigan. 30 drivers looking to get into victory lane. Who will come out victorious? We're not sure just yet. It's going to be Thomas Bressi, fastest man here in warm-ups, as we get the ticker back up on your screen. The number 24 for the second time this season without the Exalta branding as the primary sponsor, bringing back the Milwaukee paint scheme and looking to get it done with a new coat of paint on that number 24. Thomas Bressi, one of the best drivers in this league so far. He's been up there in the top 3 seeds all season long. It was, of course, Matthew Thorners, the regular season champion, who got wrecked last week and eventually found himself out of contention to win the first race of the Clash, which Rob Ackley ended up doing in, of course, dramatic fashion. A great race last time we went at it, and tonight when we go at it in Michigan, 100 laps, 200 miles, and it's going to be one great show. Michigan, a very wide circuit, a lot of room for drivers to navigate, and with these Xfinity Series machines, nimble bodies with a lot of power, so we should see some 4-5 wide racing as the night goes on, as Krista Weiss, Doug Mindorf, Alan Zard Images all come in to the chat. Thank y'all for stopping by. 925 subscribers last time I checked. Unbelievable numbers live on FTN. We've been making our way to 1,000 all year long, and it looks like at this pace we might hit it before the summer stretch. We'd love to do that with your support. Be sure to leave a subscription on the channel if you enjoy our action live on FTN. Live at least 5 days a week, and I love to be with you, of course, most of those 5 days. Got a great group of guys alongside us: Terry Radford, Jason Rockefeller, River Page, and the like. A lot of great announcers, commentators, and the best talent in broadcasting here on the iRacing scene, and we love to have your support. A homegrown operation, as right now Thomas Bressi looking for a homegrown operation next race. He told me Dover would be his wheelhouse. Right now not on the track, but certainly one of the drivers to keep an eye out for next week, as he has a solid finish in the books for the week prior. And me, of course, looking to be in the round of 8, as every driver is. 9 drivers taking a time here in warm-up. Kelly Allen, thank you for stopping by here as well, as every driver rolls in. It looks like right now Braxton Weiss, one of the fan favorites, not yet on the circuit. Gael going to come down to pit road this time by. It's Forrest Smith there in the 84 machine. Chris Gabeau in the 54 right now. And Hendrick Cars Chevrolet with that 54 right now on pit road, as the High Rock Vodka machine takes it down to the low line in pit road as everyone gets settled in. The driver of that number 24 machine, Thomas Bressi, in the Clash, indicated by the orange and black, is the fastest man here in warm-up. So let's get right into it here and now. The grid going to be on your screen, and we've gone over your starting grid for tonight's event, but let's get a visual on who is where and what is where as well. Manufacturers, domination from the Clash drivers, non-Clash guys up in front. And how about one of the storylines I want to focus on? Michael Stroll in that number 38 machine, coming back for the second race of his comeback tour here in the Clash. And as you can see, front and center, that number 38 is not in the Clash, but he had speed to be in it all season long. Unfortunately, had to take a leave of absence in the middle of the season, but he is back, ready to rumble, and I think we get one hell of an interview. A jubilant Michael Stroll we love to see, as he now has the pace to start it up in front. We'll, of course, find out whether or not he has the pace to keep it there at the tail end. Alec Daffin not yet on your starting grid. Now it appears he is, and a good majority of the field is already there, waiting on Cal Filarski and Ford Smith. And then we'll grab a gear with the iRacing official pace car, the Ford Mustang, the classic that it is, leads the way in front of every driver in Michigan, known as a Motor City and one of the homes to motor racing as it is known today. And this track in itself, known for decades of great racing. At one point, a 600-mile event was held at this circuit. Of course, the US 500 and the Indy oval racing split when open wheel had its own conflicts. Michigan become one of the premier events, and that it became in the 90s. But today, even still, Michigan's high speed, high action, intense racing is known around the world, and tonight on iRacing, we get to experience it once again. Every driver rolls off the grid in succession. Everyone lined up there. Ford Smith gets close to our close-up cam on the pit road, and right now it is Alec Daffin who leads the way with Stroll in second, and then Matthew Fullers there in third. And Stroll right now leading the parade. It's Chevy on Chevy up in front, and a second row full of Fords. And it looks like the top man in the silver oval going to be Anthony DeBarro there in eighth. And it seems like tonight the Fords and Chevys came to represent. Bow ties and blue ovals, and as beautiful as they all are, we love to see any manufacturer on the track. The Integrity Racing League has seen Mercedes, it has seen any Formula One manufacturer. We've seen Aston Martin before, seen Alpine as a sponsor, and tonight we could see another going to victory lane. Not too many Toyotas that come into the victory lane as of recent. It's been the Chevy Workhouse, and Matthew Fuller said the driver has led the Ford fray all season long. This is the 12th race of the early going. The first dozen going to be in the books after tonight. Who can get it done from Motor City? Let's find out. The iRacing official pace car dives in this time by Alec Daffin. Number one machine, position number one, leads him into lap number one here in Michigan. The 10 questions with Boomer Logan. 200 is on its way, led by Daffin and Michael Stroll. Let's go racing from Motor City. And coming across the line, that time by Alec Daffin, leads the field by a quarter of a second over Michael Stroll, and then Matthew Fullers there in third. The entire field rolls through in succession. Everyone in good pace right now. It's a full wide on the opening lap, and it looks like that is not a joke. These guys taking it real serious, and they're taking it real quick. As you can see, they all barrel down the backstretch in a row. Jacob Fife on the inside line with Braxton Luis right now battling inside that top 15, and every driver here knows what they're up for. It's going to be four up in front once again. Anthony Navarro going to be in three wide, and another row of three wide forms at the same time. It's going to be Chad Cole, Cody Smith, Matthew Fullers. This is the big pack, but right now two drivers pull away from the entirety of the show. Alec Daffin leads by a third of a second, and then it's Michael Stroll who has over a second in itself over the number 3 spot, and that's going to be Thomas Bresci. Bresci had a great show in second practice. Not often does that speed transfer over to the main event, but it looks like tonight that it might just. Bresci right now has an awful lot of pace and leads the most intense portion of the track. That big pack, the one you want to avoid as a leader, and the one you want to be in if you have any sense of damage, and it like now looks that 24 machine knows what it takes to lead the entirety of the field. Down to the inside line, Jacob Fife going to be able to take it on the Rob Ackley machine. It's three wide, two rows deep once again at lap number 4. And right now, Thomas Bresci goes up high just a bit. Don Stevenson tries to pressure him out. Look on board with the number 24 machine, see what's going on. Cody Smith right there on the quarter panel. And right now, Cody Smith falling back just a bit. Don Stevenson, though, dead even neck and neck. The display here doesn't show it, but when they come into the corner, they go side by side all over again. However, now it looks like Thomas Bresci is a bit of trouble. Don Stevenson takes up into the third position, and this is great for that number 47 machine. As you can see on the bottom right of your screen, he is one of the Clash drivers, as indicated by the orange and black pattern shown on the ticker. He's one of the guys chasing a championship here, not only in the Night Series, but in the Octane Series. One of the best drivers, the most versatile drivers in this league. Every night we go racing, Mondays or Tuesdays, and here on a Monday night, he's up in third, and only 2 drivers in front of him, one of which, of course, going to be Alec Daffin, and Daffin is in the clash, but Michael Stroll is not. So as Michael Stroll makes himself known to the leader, announcing his presence with the roar of his Chevy Camaro engine, it's going to be sideline, side down to the inside line, and Michael Stroll, my oh my, doesn't lead it, but he gets oh so close, and Stroll is back in action, that's for sure, and Michael Stroll, a veteran sim racer of over 2 decades, is fighting with the new breed. Alec Daffin, one of the youngest on the scene in this league, and with a 59-17 I rating, he is no slouch at all, but right now, it seems like the older driver can teach one a few new tricks as he goes up to the top of the board, and Michael Stroll representing the Integrity Ignite Series in its entirety. Now up to the top spot as Don Stevenson as Cody Smith right there behind him. 6 laps in, going to be Jacob Fife in 5th. They're still side by side on the thick of the pack, and Matthew Thornhurst right now in 14th. And Thornhurst, the fastest driver all season long. The DMG United machine finds himself united with the pack, but that's not a good thing at the moment. He's been head and shoulders ahead of everyone all year long so far, but Mr. Evie finds himself in the mid-pack, and it looks like there's not much more he can do but accept it. As of course we saw last time we went at it, first lap he got wrecked, and that was all she wrote. So he's at a points deficit as is. Drivers like Bressie, Ackley, and now guys like Alec Daffin able to gain major points on him. And while he is still inside that top 8 at the moment, he surely lost an awful lot of that cushion that made him such a threat early on. And side by side with Boomer Logan, as is in the 94 machine right there, going for the taking position, number 13. Can you do it right now? Not quite sure, but 10 questions with Boomer Logan, one of the biggest supporters of the Integrity Racing League. We'd love for you to look that up on Google. 10 questions with Boomer Logan. It is, of course, an interview procedure held by Boomer Logan just about every week with the stars of the Integrity, Ignite, and Octane series, no matter how much they race, no matter where they are in the point standings, no matter what their role is in the league. Boomer Logan goes in depth and finds the person to the driver, and it's always an insightful, incredible read for me as it teaches me a bit more about the drivers every week. So if you want to get an in-depth look at how these drivers are outside of the sim, I'd love to recommend it to you. 10 questions with Boomer Logan, and they're the sponsor of tonight's event. And right now he goes down to the inside line on Brandon Wencher. Thornhurst got the better of him that time by, and it looks like right now Michael Stroll has the better of the field by a half second. He is dialed in and he is dialed out. I cannot believe it. At a track like Michigan, it is hard to break the pack away from you, and it looks like right now Michael Stroll is doing it with ease. Look at how much quicker he is that time by off exit as he leads the field down to lap number 10. As it takes him in, Don Stevenson is a blip on his radar, and the number 38 machine is the fastest man by a long shot. Back time by on his own ran a 40.223, and right now Alan Dobbs in the middle of this pack ran a 40.235. So it is no joke. Michael Stroll is quicker than everyone else in this circuit, and that might be because of one of Michigan's unique characteristics as a speedway of sorts. You do need to let off most often in the track in the corner entry, especially if you are with a pack. You got drivers below you, drivers ahead of you. You can see now Brandon Wencher goes way high, going to take a bit of the space away from Gael Brooks, as right now Gael is going to be able to consolidate on Braxton Luis. Every driver in this pack takes away a bit of room from one another. So what they make up with on straightaway speed, they lose in the middle of the corner. So right now, while the Barrow getting quicker when it comes up to Cody Smith, he's going to lose a lot of time when he gets blocked, and that's going to send this cycle back into motion. However, Anthony is quick right now, takes him 3 wide down the back. And Anthony Navarro sees himself through if he can, of course, lunge it into this corner. He's fast right now, but it looks like he has some patience. No fury, but he gets by. He's going to be in 4th as we saw some 3 wide, 4 wide action in this pack in just a bit of a further back view. Right now, going to be double filed, though, the backstretch where it all gets dicey. However, coming through the front stretch once again, it appears everyone is in good spirits and keeping the race going without much trouble. Nick Tarbuck going to be in the 16th spot, as is Gael Brooks going to be in the 17th position, and Brad Patton is there in 18th. Forrest Smith going to be position number 19, and right now the entirety of the chase separated by a good majority of the field. One man in a lot of trouble. That's Nick Tarbuck. Everyone saves it, but that could have been a yellow. I'm not quite sure what happened. Tarbuck has damage, and he has damage big. 12 laps in. Let's find out just what happened as we take it up to a wide-angle shot before we get the replay on your screen. Nick Tarbuck is in trouble. Let's find out why. And the 29 machine, one of your class drivers, dives it in just a bit, and it looks like he's going into the entry just fine, washes up, and he is going to see that it's Brandon Wenger he hits, and he hits Wenger bad. That's going to be two cars with a lot of damage, and Brandon Wenger, the source of this incident. Take it back 15 seconds with him and find out how he got into it. And it looks like right now, racing DJ Stagner races himself up to the wall, almost taps Logan, and Tarbuck gets the worst of it. Nowhere he can go, and thankfully every driver avoids it, but the number 88 machine is in an awful lot of trouble as still the field goes on. Michael Stroll leads them all by 1.5 seconds. Alec Daffin there in second, and then Don Stevenson is in third. And right now, every driver getting a bit more spread out, and this is what we meant by Michigan being a very wide track. Not only in the ability to go 3-4 wide, get a bit antsy, but also in the ability to avoid wrecks when they happen. No yellows thrown in that circumstance. If it was a track like Bristol, I'm certain that would have been a big pileup. It is comparing apples to oranges, I will admit, but in a case like this, Bristol would have a much bigger wreck with a similar situation. A driver smacking the wall could end up with a big chain reaction. Here at Michigan, you're able to go to the inside, able to stick it up high, maybe make it work there, and you'll just get back on your way. As it is, no driver on pit road. Brendan Wenger not even dead last on the field. He has Kyle Cooper and Cal Folarski behind him, 15 laps in. And as you can see on your ticker, it is a sea of orange in the middle of the field. And we're going to get it back on your screen in just a moment. Michael Stroll leads the way, a non-class driver over Daffin and Stevenson. Of course, Anthony DeBarro, as he mentioned, and Cody Smith are both not class drivers as well. But take a look from there. 2 class drivers in the top 5, and then look at the next page. It's going to be 6th through 10th, all class drivers, and then it's going to be from 11th to 14th class drivers as well. Now 11th through 15th, 10 straight of the 16 class drivers are in the 5th to 15th range, and only 5 separate them, one of which is the leader, but the good majority of this field right now is led by the clash drivers. Right now, it looks like Don Stevenson looks to go for a clash with a man in that 48. That's Alec Daffin. The number 1 machine right now ran a recent race at Chicagoland on Saturday night, and he was awful quick there, 2nd place in the going, but now Stevenson going to take 2nd away from him here, and now Don gets up into position number 2. Alec has to settle for 3 in the time being. Braxton DeWeese able to get himself up into 9th, and Braxton has been on tear all night long. DeWeese qualified just inside the top 20 as far as we can recall on our timing and scoring systems, but he has been on the charge for quite some time. Now that 15 machine is in the top 10, chasing down the defending winner in Rob Ackley, and also going in on Thomas Bresci as they go side by side, the 24 and 22 doing. Right now, Ackley chasing him down once again, and Rob Ackley for the biggest team in the Integrity Racing League in its entirety. Domination, Intimidation Racing, running a great race. 8th as is, his teammate is out in front, so a lot to learn from there. And these Chevy Camaros set up just right for success. As they come down to the line this time through 18 laps in out of a total of 100 here in Michigan. I can't believe it. We're seeing Michael Stroll, his 2nd race back after several races away, is dominating the field. He is 2.5 seconds up on every other driver, and everyone else is like a blip in his radar. Right now, he's almost 3 seconds ahead of 2nd on his own pace, on his own merit, and the only driver in the 40-second range and lap time besides Anthony DeBarro, and DeBarro is fast, I'll tell you what, but he's burning up his stuff chasing down that leader, so it might be a bit of a negative overall as a short-term gain, but maybe a long-term loss before our first pit cycle. With Michael Stroll out in front that far. Right now, it still is going to be 3 wide racing right there. Matthew Flores gets by 2 and now chases down the number 2 of Brad Pat and Cody Griffin right behind him. As it stands, the Forrest Smith machine stays intact. And looking on board with Forrest here, he almost gets in the wall, able to save it from much more damage, but he loses an awful lot of momentum that time through, and it could have been detrimental. However, the 84 keeps on going. Quick thinking keeps him out of the wall, and while it is a short-term loss, that might actually be a long-term gain. The more damage you can avoid as the night goes on, the better you can be in the later going, and that's almost a given to racing. Big time shuffle, 2 cars down to the grass. They keep it straight. I'm not quite sure what they're gonna say. Is it a yellow flag? Is it not? It looks like it won't be, but a big hit for Casey Zhu. 20 laps in, they're in the infield. No called caution. We stay green at the moment. Let's take it back 30 seconds, find out just what happened. No yellow flag for the 84, the 94, and the 4. Bad news for the 4 crew here as Logan gets washed up by Forrest, and then Casey Zhu tries to avoid it, and he gets caught up in the act as well. And Casey has the biggest hit. Forrest gets back in the way. He has some front end damage. No front end plate there. The hood is gone. And Casey has a monster hit right there that sends him in reverse. Boomer Logan gets away from the best of everyone here. And while he has some rear end damage and got slowed down quite a bit, Forrest Smith, detrimental front end damage, and it's going to be crucial as well as the Casey Zhu as they both slip and slide out of the grass. They're now 1 lap down apiece. And no yellow flag out for that one. They were all able to go down the apron and not cause a caution. iRacing can trigger yellows if they determine an incident has multiple drivers in harm's way. That incident, though, did not, as not only one driver got away entirely, the others did get it straight eventually. Right now, Alan Dobbs in the middle of the Thunderhorse and Brad Patton sandwich, and now it seems like single file is indeed the norm. The closest side-by-side battle that we see is Kyle Cooper and Nick Tarbuck, as Cooper goes down to the inside on the damage number 29 and gets himself in a position number 24. And right now, it still is a dead even gap between the leaders. However, it's a new guy in second. Anthony DeBarro is now clawing away slowly but surely at Michael Stroll, and it seems like this could be the good fortune that number 27 needs. Stroll cut through the field efficiently and effectively, not in the race but in qualifying, by starting in second, and it looks like that advantage carried him to almost the quarter-way point of this race. But DeBarro is faster than everyone on the track, and he's all dialed in, looking for his first win of the season in his own right. Stroll went a nod for point event. It was the clash. No points were handed out, but he was quickest in the 40-lap exhibition tonight, though Anthony DeBarro knows he's not been the quickest overall in a race in quite some time. It could be his night. He has been oh so quick, but it looks like he gains a little bit of time and then loses it immediately thereafter. It's a 3-second deficit to the leader for the 27. And with DeBarro now losing a bit of time chasing down Michael Stroll, it seems like Stroll is still in control over the remainder of the field. Don Stevenson falls back into third. He's got Forrest Smith up high on him right now, and that number 47 knows that while he's only 4 seconds away from the leader, that could be a death sentence in chasing him down without some major strategy shifting. Alec Daffin still there right behind, and Jacob Fife getting there until now, and Fife looking the best he's had all night long as he now chases down Daffin. They're only separated by about a total of 1/10 of a second here as they come through for lap number 25's entry into the show. The quarter-way point going to be just about here and just about now, and it's been a next-level drive for the driver in that number 38 in Michael Stroll. And more on Next Level Racing. Well, how about it? NextLevelRacing.com. High-quality sim racing performance products since 2009 for dedicated sim racers who want nothing but the best. And new for the 2023 cycle, an officially licensed Ferrari product and multitude of options for you and your sim rig. So if you're interested in the best any sim racer can get, be sure to visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. High quality sim racing performance products since 2009, and we will be right back after our first Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. We'll be back in just a moment. as we return for our first promotional break of the night, we'd once again like to thank NextLevelRacing.com for their commitment and investment in the Integrity Racing League. The season champion at the end of the year in both the Ignite and Octane series will win a sim rig worth $2,000 from Next Level Racing's high quality, of course, collection of sim racing equipment. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information after tonight's broadcast. Let's get right back to the action. 28 laps in, and a next level drive has been put together by Michael Stroll in that number 38. No driver has been as quick as him all night long, and while Anthony Navarro was faster, he had to cut through the field to get into second, and it could be a level playing field next time we go racing with new tires. But I do believe that DeBarro's run might be a bit limited now, as he's losing more and more time over the longer run that we've had here in this event. Drivers come down to pit road as of recent. Alan Dodge 4 laps ago. Forrest Smith in as is. So is Casey Shue. So is Cal Filarski. But they all have damage here, so those are not based on strategic stops, except for Alan Dobbs, who hopes on a caution to get him back up in front. And with strategic stops now coming into the equation, that's one question that one of these drivers might have to ask before the field. Do I come in and commit the undercut? Come in, try to get new tires, run everything back, and hope that I get enough position to stay out in front for later going? Or would the overcut be the way to go? Jacob Fife gets into the 4th spot as we were at our promotional break. Daffin right now is still in the top 5, but Braxton Weiss, having what seems to be his best run all season long, is chasing Alec down for what could be his first top 5 of the year. The number 24 machine now right on that back bumper. Take a look on board with the number 15. And Braxton Weiss holds him off, defending 30 laps in. And while every driver knows it's far from the checkered, you want to make sure you lay claim to your territory here on the track. And right now, territory is position. So keep your position in mind as the night goes on, as every driver continues to work their way through the field. It seems like the driver of the number 2 machine in Brad Patton right on the tail end of DJ Stagner now, and Stagner finds himself now in 9th. Oh, so close to the incident with Brandon Wenger, just one car away when it happened, but right now DJ's made his way all the way up to the 9th spot, and right behind their defending winner in Rob Ackley. So great company to be in here in this event. 31 laps in, almost a third of the way through, in a good spot for a successful top 10 night as one of the 16 drivers in the classes. They come down the back this time by Rob Ackley, goes down to the inside line on the number 24 machine as Kerry Hopkins comes into the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Hope you appreciate and enjoy tonight's presentation as the championship race is in full swing. And right now the top 5 has many class drivers in it, but a few of these guys are not in the show for the title. Anthony Navarro and Michael Stroll, 2nd and 1st respectively, are not in the clash. And then we go down from there and see multiple clash drivers in succession. Right now leading the clash, it is the driver in that number 47 of Don Stevenson. Then it's going to be Jacob Fife right behind him. Alec Daffin's in 5th. Braxton Weiss going to be in 6th. Rob Ackley there in 7th. Thomas Bressy is in 8th. And right now it is Brad Patton right behind with DJ Stagner there in 10th. From 3rd, you go down to 11th to find your next non-class driver, the best of the best, rising up to the top of the field as always. However, it's been the night of the underdogs, and Michael Stroll, who has not been in the sim for almost half of this season, is back in control by over 4 seconds over the remainder of the field in 33 laps of green flag racing. At this pace, he would be up in front over the entirety of the field by about 12 seconds at the end of the race if we went all the way green. And right now, we're looking to be on pace to maybe do just that. It's been a clean green first third of the way so far. Anthony Navarro still there in 2nd, but right now Don and Jacob chase him down in succession. And Michael Stroll goes down to the inside line this time by. He'll come in the undercut as the leader and takes DeBarro right down with him. So does Thomas Bressy go. So does Brad Patton. Making a few more. Cody Griffin, Gael Brooks, Trevor Trago, and the first pit cycle underway, taking a good majority of the field down and in. This time by Michael Stroll leads him, and he knows he has to stay on the level of the number 27 machine if he wants any chance at the race win. Don Stevenson is now the man up in front with Jacob Fife in second. Do they come down a pit road this time by, or do they choose to stay out one more lap? We will find out, as it looks like Stevenson arcs his entry in just a bit toward pit road. It looks like he does not go until Jacob Fife calls his bluff. They come down dead even at the line, and no incident. They all come in smooth. Now, with that being said, Michael Stroll leads the entirety of the field out, winner off pit road once again, and Anthony Navarro still 4 seconds away from him here, so Michael gets everything he can and then some, as only one driver stays out on old tires, and that's going to be not for long. Boomer Logan comes in, every driver pits within 1 lap of your former leader, and now Stroll has to run back the time and get himself out in front. Alec Daffin scored as your leader on the pole position stall, but Stroll leads the drivers out on the track. Does he get out in front? Let's find out as they cycle through. He does easily. He's out in front by 3 seconds over Don Stevenson and 4 seconds now over Anthony Navarro, so it all works out well. And Michael Stroll, a third of the way into this show, is your leading man without much of a conflict. 35 laps in, Navarro getting there in second, and Don is there in third. It looks like Stevenson able to get out just about a second away from Navarro, so able to gain just a bit, but the remainder of the battles go back into the order they were beforehand. Braxton and we still going to be able to hold on to 6th. Brad Patton there in 7th. Rob Ackley is in 8th, and Thomas Bressy's there in 9th, as Chad Cole back in the top 10. Once again going for a strong run is there right behind Bressy. And as it comes down the backstretch this time by, it is Michael Stroll out in front. 36 in, out of 100. Closest battle of the racing circuit right now appears to be for position number 11. DJ Stanger has the edge down the back, though. Cody Smith has the momentum, so as they chase each other into turn number 3, DJ tries to keep him honest. Cody Smith goes right up there. He wants none of this, but it looks like he will have none of this by force. Stagner takes a spot. Cody Griffin will have to recuperate and recover if he wants any shot at getting into the top 11. Still in that first dozen, though, as Cody Griffin gets chased down by Matthew Thunhorst, and Thunhorst, as we saw him earlier, was in the gridlock, but now he is in a different sense. The driver of that number 8 machine in 14th spot, despite being locked up in no pack. It seems like the number 8 machine has stalled out in the middle of the field, and through it all, the number 8 machine finds himself in the top 15, but certainly not the winning pace we've come to expect of your regular season champion. So he continues to chase them all down. Michael Stroll still leads the way in that 38, though, as he comes down to lap number 38. Your 38 driver is out in front for AC Delco. Anthony Navarro now 4.5 seconds away, and while he was much quicker on newer tires before, he was in the pack and might have been giving him a bit more of an advantage using less of the tire to get more speed. As it stands, Navarro is about 4.6 seconds off of Michael Stroll, and Don Stevenson is 7 seconds away from your leading man. Going to be Jacob Fife there in position number 4. Alec Daffin is still in 5th, and the top 10 guys separated by only 10 seconds, and that's because Michael Stroll leads by 5. So at this point, the top 5, excluding your leader, only have 5 seconds within one another, and then Michael Stroll sets the tone. He's out in front by a dominating margin so far in Michigan. But Stroll putting on such a commanding effort so far, you beg to question it once again. Will he be stopped by the track conditions that, of course, change on iRacing as part of the most realistic simulating platform on the market? iRacing involves weather and climate change. As the night goes on, things can shift. It could become a bit of a warmer surface, a bit of a cooler surface. It could become a day-to-night race. That does not to be in the, of course, equation. It does not seem to be there tonight. It could even in the near future become a rainy day. However, at the moment, iRacing does not have that technology implemented. Could the weather change in the way that Michael Stroll's car is detuned? Well, it could happen. And right now, Navarro gets a bit of an edge on that lap as Michael Stroll passes a lap car. He now is 4.5 seconds away. Gains back about a 10th that time by, but of course not enough to make any major time just yet. As we come down to the start-finish line, once again, your leaders far and away in front, but the mid-pack still fighting fierce. You can see it's going to be Jonathan Gearvon and Nick Tarbuck fighting to make up any position that they can. They're, of course, in an awful lot of trouble due to the fact that they got caught up in early incidents. Tarbuck and Gearvon both have similar levels of damage. They both have a big front end hole. As you can see, it all gets compounded on the front, and that's where all the damage lies. So the motor might be a bit less powerful. As we look to the close-up drone shot on that number 29, Tarbuck definitely has an issue, and so does Gearvon, as you can see in that number 33, as he gets real close to the rear end of the number 29. Both drivers still battling about a second off pace per lap, but keeping each other in close distance makes them that much quicker. Good to see the battle still going there. As we look up closer to the front of the field, Cody Smith right behind Thomas Bressie, and Bressie in 11th as is, while Cody Smith is there in 12th. 42 laps in out of 100. Matthew Floater is going to be in the 13th spot right now, and Cody Griffin there in 14th. Every driver running their own race right now. The pack has disappeared, and now it's all about the race of the individual. If you can't run your own line, run it at your own, of course, track, so to speak, you'll be in an awful lot of trouble. Everybody but minding their own business, and that's the way it's gone for the past 10 laps. Michael Stroll about a third of the way through this cycle, 9 laps in on his tire stint, and he leads by 4.3 seconds. Navarro slowly but surely gaining just a bit more time. And while he is gaining just a bit more time, it might not be all too permanent. He got by Alan Dobbs, got some draft, but now it seems to be coming back in Stroll's favor. 4.6 seconds at the stripe for the number 38 machine. Let's see what he runs at the stripe next time by, as he comes down to the Geico restart zone, ready to get back into the swing for yet another lap. Michael Stroll, that time through, runs a 40.396, and Anthony Navarro runs a 40.578. So if that shows how quick Michael Stroll is, he might just get quicker as the run goes on. No driver better with tire saving thus far. No driver better in the long run in pulling away. And the 38 continues to be the driver here to stay in the top spot. However, Don Stevenson right now there with the number 47 machine and the 05 battling Jacob Fife's season. He does not have much an opportunity as Allen goes up high, knowing he's a lap machine, not racing for much with these leaders. Jacob gonna take him and get that spot and make himself one of the drivers up in front without much a problem. The number 36 machine in that top 5 with Alec Daffin in 5th, Braxton Weiss there in 6th, and then Brad Patton in 7th. Every driver spread out to the furthest extent they've been all night long, but the action's only getting more intense when it comes down to strategy. And now side-by-side battle going to be Brandon Bernhardt and Carson Bechtel. The number 59 machine has himself up high, and Bernhardt has the edge down low. And now down to the inside, Bechtel almost had it, and Brandon Bernhardt, for his sake, thankfully able to defend it. And right now, 45 laps in, Brandon Bernhardt, one of the most notable guys in this season. He won the first bracket, a $30 cash bonus to him. And how about that? However, the season from there has not gone his way. 17th position as is, of course not where he wants to be, but running solidly with Chris Cabot right in front and Carson Bechtel right behind, still in the top half of the field or just below it. So running on par for the number 81 machine. And we did not mention this beforehand. That number 15 machine, Braxton Weiss, is your second bracket winner in the Integrity Ignite Series this season. Weiss gets it done, gets a $30 bonus in his own right, and number 15 comes home with a first prize of the season. Right now, though, chasing the ultimate prize of the round of 8 and eventually the championship, and this has been his best race of the season so far. This is when it matters, though. If you get it done at the end of the season, it all matters more than the earlier portion. If you're the top seed and then you fall off from there, those early results won't impact you as we reset the points round after round. Right now, though, for a driver who's able to sneak in, so to speak, not in the top 8 to start this championship run, and now finding himself consistently fighting for that top 5, that's exactly what you'd want. And right now, Braxton Weiss is an exemplary driver when it comes to coming in clutch later in the championship going. As they come down to lap number 48, this time by Michael Stroll leads by 4 seconds, and he has the field still in wraps. Don Stevenson going to see that Alan Dobbs goes down to pit road once again. He is off cycle, and it has hurt him. 2 laps down as is, and only 2 retirees on the night, and those will be Forrest Smith and Brandon Wenchard. Cal Filarski, 32 laps down as is, but not recorded as a retiree. So 30 drivers on the circuit right now who could make passes if they so choose. Wenchard and Forrest Smith out of the server. However, so if Cal Filarski does get back on the track, he's been on pit road for over 20 minutes. It will be a shock and could pick off some positions with some time on the circuit. Don Stevenson leads the way, a total of 47 on the number for him. 49 laps in overall. He leads those in the clash right now by 7/10 of a second. Jacob Fife there in second, and while Fife has not been a winner just yet this season, he has been consistently fast when it mattered, and right now seems he's up there once again. 49 laps in out of 100, almost to the halfway mark here in the Integrity Night Series' second round of the clash, and Stroll will take them in to the halfway point here and now. 50 laps in, it has been a next level race for the man in that 38, and you know what that means. Second next level racing promotional break of the night, live on FTN. Once again, we thank you greatly for your support as the next level racing machinery, of course, the best sim racing equipment for any sim racer, dedicated to nothing but the best. Visit nextlevelracing.com for more information. But after our broadcast here on FTN, as the 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200 is now at its halfway point. We'll be right back after our second Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. Thank y'all for watching. We'll return in just a moment. And as we return from our second Next Level Racing promotional break, Michael Stroll leads with a total of 50 laps to go on the board. Make it 49 that time by Michael has been in control all night long, and there's been no stopping the masterclass in that number 38. DeBarro's been dead even with him, but dead even is not enough to make a pass. It's one thing to catch, another to pass, but it's one thing to have the pace to catch in its own right. He's been just about dead even all night long with that number 38. The only time he had an advantage was when he was in the pack, in the thick of it, with every driver in the show. But right now, as he finds himself out of any driver's air, he does not have that extra horsepower, and he cannot power through every driver like he did before. So it looks like DeBarro has to hold on off his own merit. He is still in second, a great run for him, but still, for a driver chasing checkered flags, not in the championship run, you know he wants it as bad as anyone else. He might want it more than anyone else. A driver like Don Stevenson may need it more than anyone else. He's in the clash right now, and while he is, of course, up front tonight, nothing is a guarantee, as the final few races of the clash will shake it up once again. It's been an exciting show to watch the clash come into fruition, from the breaking race in Iowa, where you had to make it in the top 16. Drivers like Alan Dobbs barely able to slide in. Right now, Dobbs not running well on strategy. To those who made it in as a lock, like Matthew Thunders and Thomas Bresci, Don is sort of in the middle of this equation. He's been quick all season long that we have seen, but he's not been next level dominant. He'll have to push it to 110% for a race win here, but he still is in good standing to come home with a nice points night, as Alan Dobbs right now going to be way off the pace. It's Braxton Weiss now in the top 5 and going from strength to strength as of recent for Braxton Weiss, a driver that comes alive in the races, but he's really came alive tonight. No other race as he had this type of pace on the long green flag stretch. More than half of the race through under green, and that number 15 machine is now up in the top 5, looking to chase down Fife and Stevenson. These guys up in front might be the last two who can chase down. Naturally, you might need a mistake out of DeBarro or Michael Stroll to get either of them from there. That number 47 is in third. It's going to be the 36 in fourth as they chase down Anthony Navarro there in second. We could have a race for that position number 2 right about now. And it seems like that means that not only has Navarro gotten a bit slower, but Stevenson and Fife have gotten just a bit faster. And as they come through once again, Anthony Navarro now for the first time in quite some time is in a bit of trouble holding on to the second spot. He has not relinquished it ever since he got it, except for the one lap where strategy was up in the air. And now Don goes out of the inside line, tries to make the move first. And he's down to the quarter panel. They're just about dead even this time by. Don is going for it as hard as he can. And they're coming off each other, double final that time by. It looks like Stevenson now has the edge, and he does indeed clear the 27, at least for now. It's going to be Navarro still in there for Navarro sliders, looking to throw himself into a slide job, maybe come out as the winner, but it looks like indeed Don Stevenson is the beneficiary from this battle. Jacob Fife still going to be in fourth as it stands. They come down to the stripe in succession. It is Navarro now in the third spot, and Don Stevenson leads the Clash drivers clear as day in position number 2 over Jacob Fife, Braxton Weiss, and Alec Daffin. Michael Stroll and Navarro non-factors in the championship hunt, but they are still notable to look out for as the race gets into its final stages as he can come home with a checkered flag overall. And looking back further in the field, a driver in that number 20 spot, Carson Beck, doing a close battle with Chris Gabot for quite a few laps. Right now, it looks like it has died down, but Gabot, one of the new drivers in this league, joined just a few races ago, able to make a solid impression, 14th on his first running, and he's been inside that top 15, top 20 ever since. No trouble from him. He's been nice, clean, and competitive all season long that we've seen him. And now looking to run it back and finish out this season with a strong run in the Clash, not running for the championship points, but still building expertise and gaining time with the drivers of this league. And that's always good for a driver who's new and getting acclimated to a certain group of racers. Look at just a bit in front of him. Matthew Flutters now is in 10th in the top 10, gaining more time on his adversaries in the championship battle, and is now in front of a driver like Thomas Bresci, a key championship rival, second seed in the regular season coming into this one, and now a few spots back on him after a disastrous race for Thunders last week. This week now looks to be a bit of a twist of fate in a positive light for him as he now runs right behind DJ Stagner by 3 seconds. And right now, DJ Stagner battling fiercely with Brad Patton and Rod Ackley. While it might not be side-by-side action, every lap is methodical in a position like Stagner's. He knows he'll have to make it sooner or later. Now he goes down to the inside line, tries to make it so for 8th. It looks like he has the edge. He's going to be able to clear him. But does Brad Patton have the crossover move in mind? That he does. Goes down just a bit low. Not going to be enough. It looks like Stagner holds on with 41 laps to do it. He comes down the line in front of Brad Patton. Matthew Flutters way back in frame. Rob Ackley is still up front, keeping it the same. And Ackley having a great start to the Clash, better than anyone else can ask for. A walk-off, lead-off win in this showdown for the championship. And now running it back with a 7th position, showing in the second event. So Ackley with the best start of any driver so far. And it seems like that might just stay the same. As it stands, he is currently 5th of the drivers in the Clash in this race. Navarro and Stroll, as we've mentioned time and time again, are not in the Clash. However, right now, Don Stevenson gaining slowly but surely on Michael Stroll, and the gap is within 4 seconds for the first time in over 20 laps. It's 3.8 seconds now, so Michael Stroll still has them very far behind, but it seems like Don has found something out in that number 47 Camaro, and it could be enough to carry him in for one final stint. 40 laps to go as is. They'll come down within about 10 laps, and that's when we'll see our final pit stop of the night if these drivers, of course, do choose to stretch it. And stretching fuel mileage might be the way to go. We saw these guys went about 33, 34 laps on their first stint, and while that could be just enough to make it to the checkered flag, you don't want to risk it, especially with a fierce battle for position and championship points. So Michael Stroll might be one of the guys who's saving a bit more fuel at the later stages of this one, trying to come into pit road to that lap 67, 68, or 69, just to make sure he can go all the way. Don Stevenson might be in a similar position, running in the draft for so long they gain the spots for track position And DeBarro, right there with them, is still keeping in touching distance of this showdown, while Jacob Fife, Braxton Weiss, and Alec Daffin continue to battle. Now Braxton has to deal with a lap traffic machine of Nick Tarbuck. And at the start-finish line, Braxton able to get right by that 29 machine. Nick Tarbuck, as it stands, has lost touch with Jonathan Girvan. We saw them battling beforehand, but right now it appears that is not the case. The number 29 machine has much more severe damage internally, it appears, and now that number 29 falls down 9 seconds behind the 33 machine. Gael Brooks going to be in 22nd as it stands. He's the final man on the lead lap, but not by all too much. However, in 63 laps of running almost entirely alone, that number 71 machine is still in the lead lap. So if there is a yellow flag, it is possible. Anything is possible. He could find himself back up front with a brief restart. And we've seen that an awful lot of the track like Michigan, long runs being the short overtime finishes, and the surprise could catch some drivers out. But for those who might need it, it wouldn't be much a shock at all. Jacob Fife now gaining slowly but surely on Anthony DeBarro right now. DeBarro only half a second in front and only 0.3 of a second behind Don Stevenson, so it's all open reign from 5th up to 2nd. Braxton Weiss only about a second away from Don Stevenson in 2nd, and Jacob Fife just within that range as well. 0.8 of a second separates 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and they're all in frame at the same time for just a brief moment. However, Don Stevenson still has his own real estate to work around as 36 laps to go. We are coming down a pit road in about 3 laps time. And one driver in the wall that time by Braxton Weiss might have been that one. Everyone still keeps going in this sector. No right side damage on that end, but it seems like someone rushed up with the wall. However, every driver up in front is still going. Ackley with Stagner, they're both going to be able to get by Nick Tarbuck. And that they do with ease. And it looks like Stagner makes the initiating move, and Rob Ackley will follow him soon thereafter. Tarbuck stays up high, going to be able to try to run that momentum back with DJ Stagner. But it seems like Ackley, regardless, is that much quicker. And with 35 laps to go, Michael Stroll has been on this set of tire for 32 laps. Now, he would have to wait about 3 more laps for a safe pit stop to go the rest of the way in the race. Nobody's sure just yet whether or not they can or can't go there, because the first stint was about 33 laps on the dot. So the next time by could be the most crucial, as Michael Stroll looks to be staying out on the circuit, at least for now. He's still going at about 170 miles an hour. He will not come in. However, one driver will, and that will be Casey Shue in position number 26. He comes into pit road as the leaders go right by him. Michael Stroll with 34 laps to go remains on the circuit, and Don Stevenson does as well in 2nd, with Anthony DeBarro there in 3rd. And with 34 to do it, the 2nd third of this race, it is over. We're now down on the final countdown here in Michigan as the AC Delco machine leads them perhaps into pit road once again. He has set the tone, he's made the shots, he's made the calls for every pit strategy move so far, and it looks like that he might just do again. Stroll down to pit road after 33 laps on his cycle. He will do it picture perfect as DeBarro follows him, and Don Stevenson opts to stay out for one more lap. Jacob Fife does as well, and now we got a pit road race on our hands. Stroll comes down with DeBarro, DeWeese, Stagner, Ackley, Patton, Matthew Thornworth, and Chad Cole as well. Now as they all come in, it's one extra lap on new tires versus one extra lap out on the track. Which will win at the end of the day, we are not sure just yet, but Stevenson due to lead them in very soon to pit road. And Don Stevenson, still going at a pace of 160 miles an hour, backs it down now, and he'll take Jacob Fife, Alec Daffin, Cody Smith, Brandon Bernhardt, and now as they all come in, this time by the experiment ends just like that, and Michael Stroll back on his way, the winner off pit road by 3 seconds over DeBarro, and while he is still quicker in and out, it's not by much. He had about 1/10 of a second more in his pit box, but then went it all back on the pit road exit. So it seems like while Stroll was still the fastest man overall on pit road, not by too much. And now it could be jeopardy for his race lead. 3.4 seconds separate your top 2 guys effectively as Cody Smith still is out on the track, risking it as hard as he can. Alec Daffin going to be there in frame. Every driver rolling off a pit road. Stevenson on his way with Daffin. And now Michael Stroll able to cycle right by him. The 38 is your leader, despite one driver staying out on the track. He'll have to come in sometime soon. He opts to stay out, waiting for something to happen, perhaps a yellow. And 69 laps in, make it 70 out of 100. A nice run it's been for Cody Smith all night long. And while he's been going strong, it appears like he's going to go long on this tire strategy. Tries to do something a bit different, adapting to everyone else going. It seems like the driver in that number 18 machine has himself in a bit of a different position. And while that is the case, coming down the backstretch, the Bud Light number 18 barrels in, and now he might come down to pit road, 157 miles an hour, make it a 160, tire degrading. It is evident, and it looks like despite that, he will come down to pit road. It won't be because he was slow off the exit, it was because he was slow to enter pit road one final time. Michael Stroll, with 31 laps to go, is your race leader and still has a stranglehold on this event. And keeps him going into the stripe one more time. 30 laps to go as is. And Michael Stroll gonna take it from there. He's now your race leader out in front by more than a second, but not by all too much now. It's gonna be 3 seconds as DeBarro is still just about dead. Even Stroll has had control of this race all race long. The DeBarro machine, while close on speed, has not been able to get that track position. And how about with 30 laps to go, we ride on board for one lap with the man in that number 38. And it has been picture perfect all race long from Michael Stroll, and this is the fairy tale welcome back that he's been needing for quite some time. Not the best race last week, of course, got caught up in an early incident, but it seems like tonight he has been able to rebound with, of course, an effective and impressive showdown in the front of the field. 28 laps to go. Michael Stroll leads the way, and after an incident at Chicagoland, tonight has been the way he's wanted it all night through. Alan Dobbs chasing him down, gets in the wall, no use for him, but Anthony Navarro is still there in frame, and look at who is in third. Braxton DeWeese, having his best race all season long, is right on the coattails of that number 27, and he wants to get in there as quick as he can. DeWeese, the driver we mentioned was in the top 5 for the first time all season long, is now up there in the podium. As you can see, coming out on the front stretch, that number 15 machine is still in touching distance, and just the closest he's been to the lead all season long. I tell you what, it's getting real intense for that number 15 machine, as right now, he's got Jacob Fife and Don Stevenson right behind him, but Braxton, now as a matter of fact, leads the drivers in the clash throughout this entirety of this event. No stage breaks here in the Integrity Ignite Series. We go all the way if we can, and it seems like the driver in that number 15 still has Jacob Fife right behind him. Defense there lets him go low, then has him go right high. A perfect fake out, and now Jacob Fife has to recalculate what his next move is. With 26 laps to go, every driver in this second pack, they're fighting each other for position, and that is music to the ears of Michael Stroll, who's had his number 38 Chevy Camaro out in front all night long. That Chevy Camaro has been on the move. Nobody's been in his sight all night long. The closest drivers to him have been lap machines, I tell you what. And now with the AC Delco banner out in front, it's been a banner race for Domination Intimidation Racing, dominating this one without doing much of the intimidation. He's just been out there on raw pace no matter what. 76 laps in out of a total of 100. Michael Stroll leads, and they're battling deep. Braxton Louise now in 5th. Don Stevenson takes him down to the inside line, and they're side by side here with a quarter of the way remaining. 25 laps to get this one done. Don down low, Braxton up high, and it seems like now Stevenson has the advantage, and that number 15 machine goes into 5th. Alec Daffin going to be in 6th spot. DJ Stagner there in 7th. Rob Ackley there in 8th. As they roll on through, Michael Stroll takes him down with 24 to go, with Anthony Navarro now within 3 seconds of your leading man. And Jacob Fife now on the inside line. Could Jacob Fife have the pace to battle for the lead? He just might. They're side by side and lunging into the first turn for Pro Powder and Paint, and the number 36 out in front for the first time in the battle for second. And now Jacob Fife, the top dog, to contend with Michael Stroll in that catbird seat. Less than 3 seconds the distance between the top two guys. The slowest, the number 38, has gone all night long relative to the field, and the shortest the distance has been all night long since the very beginning. Stroll and Alec Daffin jumped out to a wide opening margin, but now it seems like that margin is diminishing. 10 laps into his stint, Michael Stroll 40.501 last time by compared to Jacob Fife's 40.149. Is it a short-term gain? Is he using up his stuff too much? We're not quite sure, but Jacob Fife now is barreling through the backstretch at breakneck pace, and Michael Stroll will have to adapt. With 23 laps to go, we'll go down to our 22 lap to go, crank it up, and you know who it's presented by name. Track Cams for Gourmets, TrackCams22.com, the best cameras on iRacing, and we hope you enjoy seeing them as much as we enjoy using them. Let's get that ticker off the screen, uninterrupted. The bottom panel, it is gone, and the best cameras on iRacing used to their fullest extent, live on FTN. We'll be right back after this crank it up, 22 to go, courtesy of TrackCams22.com. And coming down to the stripe for 18 laps to go, Michael Stroll is still your leader, but it seems like the gap has gotten much shorter. Jacob Fife now within 2 seconds on the point of that number 38 machine, and you can see that Stroll now is not going for Stroll. Things have gotten intense, the intensity indeed picking up, and right now we got yet another contender for the race lead, and Jacob Fife in the 36 chasing down the 38. It is admin on admin in this league, and both of these drivers know what is at stake: a race win and perhaps some championship points that will be ever crucial as the final few rounds get into fruition. Take a quick look at our championship standings on your screen, and you should see them just about now. The top 16 on the board are those to keep an eye out for. You want to be in the top 8 by the end of the next race at Dover. So as we take a look at that number 8 machine, Matthew Thunders, has fallen back quite a bit into 11th. He's the top seed coming in. Right now, it's Bressie leading athlete, DJ Stagner in 3rd, Don Stevenson in tie for 3rd, and then Nick Tarbuck in 5th. And right now, Alec Daffin, Jacob Fife, and Gael Brooks are in that top 8 segment. Braxton Weiss only 6 points off the cutoff, is having a career race, and it could be enough to put in the top 8. However, every point matters here. If he gives up even one, it could be detrimental. You never know how Dover will go. You want to prepare for the best and prepare for the worst, especially as a driver in the front of the field. You never know who can beat you on any day. Every driver here is competitive as ever as they come down the back, this time led by Stroll. And Michael Stroll out in front with 16 laps to go, an all-green race here in Michigan. And the man out in front has still been him, no matter what has happened. 2 pit stops, green flag cycles, undercuts, overcuts, what have you. And with about 2 seconds ahead of the field, Stroll still has them rolling with 15 remaining, as Jacob Fife is still right there. But he's got pressure from Anthony DeBarro, and DeBarro wants this second place as bad as ever. He knows first place is still in reach, but any spot is better than no spot, so he'll put it down on the Jacob Fife machine for anything that he can get. Don Stevenson right now going to be in 4th. Alec Daffin is in 5th. DJ Stagner is in 6th. Braxton Weiss now going to be in the 7th spot as the top 5 is shuffled in and out of one another time and time again. It seems like now Braxton out, DJ Stagner closer to being in, and Alec Daffin back in the picture as Don Stevenson is still with DeBarro and still with Fife. 14 to do it this time by 87 laps in the AC Delco. Number 38 machine is now slightly extending the lead. What was about a 1.6 second gap is now 1.8 seconds. Last time by, Michael Stroll ran a 40.94 compared to Jacob Fife's 30.97. So it looks like Stroll now 300 of a second faster every lap, and while that is not a major advantage, it's an advantage nonetheless. You take what you can get and you won't be upset as a leader of a race, especially one as competitive as this one. So now as Stroll comes in one more time, he knows he has it under the hood to make it. He just has to stay calm and keep rolling on with 13 left on the board. And with this being said, Jacob Fife is still just about on pace, but side by side, they're going to be right behind him. It's Stevenson and DeBarro right next to each other. They're neck and neck down the backstretch. 13 laps to go. They want to ruin each other's races here, but this is about the closest they've been all night long. The intensity is up. It is about as heart rate increasing as it can get, and these guys might have the beats per minute skyrocket with such a big battle with such little time to go. Side by side, the 47 inside might be able to lead him at the scoring loop, but no, he doesn't. DeBarro going to be calculated as the 3rd man on position. Michael Stroll, 89 laps in, is still your man out in front. Alec going to be in 5th. Stagner going to be in 6th, Braxton going to be in 7th, and Rob Ackley still in 8th. Brad Patton, Matthew Thunders round out your top 10, as Gael Brooks, a lap machine tonight, is not in contention. Cody Smith going to be in 11th, and Chad Cole going to be in 12th, and Brian McFerrin now going to be in 13th. And as it stands, according to our calculations, the final driver in this showdown, when it comes to the clash, would be the driver in that number 05 machine, and Alan Dobbs, 24th, as is not the way he's wanted to go. He's now 2 laps down and far out of winning contention for tonight. However, Forrest Smith retired. He's in 28th, so he's in a much worse situation. The number 84 machine, not going to be contention, perhaps mathematically after tonight, but certainly not in the spirit to contend for tonight's victory. Down the stretch one more time, 11 laps to go for Michael Stroll and number 38 machine as he comes down the back once again. Jacob Fife going to be there in second even still. Casey Shue in the chat, thank you for stopping by. And Don Stevenson there in third as Navarro still keeps him honest. Take a look at the quarter panel view from the 47. And Stevenson still has that 27 right on him. Not close enough to make a move just yet, but he has to keep himself attentive all throughout the rest of this race. 10 laps. It's been a marathon so far, but they've got a sprint to the end. Jacob Fife knows that he gets slightly quicker that time by about 100 of a second. Slower though in the last lap, but he gains just a bit back to make it dead even. And this has been a next level drive, a next level race overall for every driver. You know what that means. It's going to be our next level racing promotional break, number 3, and the final. With 10 laps to go, we'll be right back so you don't miss any of the action. Once again, nextlevelracing.com, high quality sim racing performance products since 2009. I hope you enjoy our brief presentation as we'll return in just a moment. We're going to thank Next Level Racing again for the continued support in the Integrity Racing League. And that will be your final Next Level Racing promotional break of the night. Once again, nextlevelracing.com, proud supporter of the Integrity Racing League, and I'm certain they be a proud supporter of this incredible run put together by the 38, still out in front. Michael Stroll is Jacob Fife in second. It's going to be Don Stevenson there in third, Anthony Navarro there in fourth, Alec Daffin in fifth, DJ Stagner is in sixth, and Braxton Luis there in seventh with a bit of pressure being placed by Rob Ackley in the eighth position. That number 22 machine has been on a roll, got it done last time we were racing at Chicagoland, but this ain't Joliet anymore. He's still fighting for yet another spot. Goes up high on the number 15 machine, tries to make a run for his money, goes right up high, tries to sail it in. Does it work? Does it stick? And not that time through. Braxton has the edge. And side by side, they're fighting for seventh. It's Michael Stroll, though he's not had the fight for lead all night long. While it has dissipated just a bit, it seems like in the long run, no driver is faster. The number 38 machine going to be able to lead him in once again. How about it for that number 38 Chevy Camaro? It's been nothing short of a fantasy of a race. Able to make it down to the stripe one more time. Make it 6 laps to go here in Chicagoland. Successor on the schedule. That's Michigan and Brooklyn, Michigan in for one incredible show. The virtual stands are packed, and we hope you enjoy tonight's presentation. If you do, be sure to leave a subscription to the channel and leave a like on the stream. Your support is greatly appreciated as we push toward 1,000 subscribers live on FTN 926. We go into the conclusion of tonight's broadcast with that number, the highest we've been all time. Your support means the world to us live on FTN, and if you do subscribe to the channel, you get unlimited chat access so long as you stay subscribed for at least 1 minute. So be sure to do just that if you want the chat access. We'd love to hear what you have to see and say as we get to it. 5 laps to go. 2 seconds separate your top 2 drivers, but Don Stevenson is still on Jacob Fife as they come through once more. Daffin going to be barely in 5th right now. DJ Stagner is in 6th. And Rob Ackley's now in 7th over Braxton Luis. And DJ Stagner, one of those guys with success in this league already, got it done at Bristol before the clash began. Of course, Rob Ackley, the only winner in the clash so far until tonight, gets to the checkered flag. And Stagner, he won last night on Sunday night in the Highline Racing League Texaco Truck Series rerun at Homestead, Miami Speedway. So that 64 machine has been on a roll live on FTN as of recent. Looks to be able to get one in one more time. Might be able to get a victory in maybe next week. But tonight, he's looking for a top 5 as if it ain't over, and that's for certain it is not. 97 laps in, you still want to pick up the pieces as they're sliding in and out. Alec Daffin, a lap machine right in front of him. That could get dicey, and it looks like so far it has not become an issue. But Dobbs is right there in the middle of it, and now he goes up high to let Alec Daffin go back to work. And Dobbs back on the charge once again. Now it's his own ruin. Alec takes it by Allen, and he will be clear this time by 3 laps to go for Michael Stroll. And Stroll now has Stevenson to worry about as Don gets by Jacob, and Anthony DeBarro going to be there in 4th. Take a look at this. DeBarro for the sliders machine has thrown it into high gear. He slid his way up front again, and now with that late pace speed, he seems to have it all night long. He could be able to take not 1 but 2 spots in if he just puts the pedal to the metal. That time by 0.2 of a second a lap faster. He's much quicker than Jacob Fife and Don Stevenson. Let's ride on board and see what he can do. And seeing what he can do indeed, DeBarro has had these tires like a miracle every time he gets in a pack. Right now, gets a bit of clean air, then goes right up into the draft and does it again, and vice versa. He's faster than every driver, but Michael Stroll on the track so far. 99 laps in, Jacob Fife still right in front, and while he is quicker, DeBarro is, it might not be enough pace to get there at the checkered flag. 99 laps in, they go down the backstretch. Fife getting pressured. 0.2 of a second away is DeBarro, and 0.2 of a second away from Fife is Stevenson. But now Michael Stroll is gaining on his lead with 1 lap to go. And with 1 more lap, this time by, Michael Stroll looks to get it done. The Integrity Ignite Series, one of the founding members of this league, unfortunately had to step out of the sim much earlier in the season due to reasons outside, of course, of sim racing. A veteran for over 2 decades and a key core member of the league, and the reason we're broadcasting this league as well. It would be incredible to see him make it in on such a dominating performance. Stroll comes down the backstretch, this time by no driver in sight as it's been all night long. The 38 machine knows he just has to keep it straight to get to the checkers, and as it rolls off of turn number 4, no questions, 1 answer. Michael Stroll at the end of 100 green flag laps will be your winner in Michigan, and your winner of the 10 questions with Boomer Logan. 200. What a win, what a moment, and what a race for Michael Stroll. And what a moment it is indeed, coming back to the sim, and the first time he makes it to the checkered flag without damage, he wins it in dominating fashion. Michael Stroll back in victory lane, and he's returned to the upper echelon of this league. Absolutely a dominating performance, and he puts some respect on the name of his team, Domination Intimidation Racing. What a way to win it as Michael Stroll gets it done over Don Stevenson by 2 seconds, and then Jacob Fife right behind in 3rd with Anthony DeBarro there in 4th. From there on out, going to be Alec Daffin in 5th, DJ Stagner in 6th, Rob Ackley going to be in position number 7, and then going to be Matthew Thunhurst there in 8th. Braxton Weiss going to be in 9th, Brad Patton is there in position number 10, and from there on out, going to be Cody Smith 11th, Chad Colin 12th, Joe Dinsmore 13th, Brian McFerrin 27 seconds off in 14th. And from there on out, going to be Trevor Trago 15th, Thomas Bresci in 16th, and Carson is going to be in 18th, Carson Bechtel, and then Kyle Cooper in 17th. So the first driver 1 lap down is Cody Griffin. 20th going to be Gael Brooks, and then going to be Jonathan Giervon 21st, Nick Tarbuck 22nd, Alan Dobbs in 23rd, and then Brandon Bernhardt in 24th. Chris Cabot going to be 25th, Casey Shue going to be 26th, Boomer Logan 27th, Forrest Smith going to be in 28th, and Brandon Wencher 29th as Cal Volarski rounds out the field in the 30th and final position. And as we get your interviews ready, we'll get the man in that number 38 machine, his burnout uninterrupted on FDN. Take a look at one of the most anticipated burnouts all season long as Michael Stroll burns it down from Brooklyn, Michigan. And as Michael Stroll backs away from the static cameras, I believe that will be it. A burnout long anticipated for the man in that number 38 machine. And he is back on top, winning the Clash early in the season. And now in the Clash for the championship, he is back on top after a dominating display of driving all night long. Michael Stroll comes home as your winner in the 10 questions with Boomer Logan 200 here in Michigan. Indeed, how about your return to victory lane here in a 100-lap showdown?
Yeah, not just my return to victory lane, but just a return to sim racing in general. As I think I took like a month off, but it's really good to be back. Did not expect that whatsoever, but it feels good, and I appreciate everyone giving me a warm welcome back. Love all my guys at DIR. Love my girls at home, and I feel pretty good right now. I feel really appreciated. One of my more humbling wins, I should say. So hopefully I can get back in the swing of things for season B and make a run at the championship next season.
And looking to make a run next season, but this season putting down the foundation for success. So how was it out front all night long?
It was, pretty uneventful. I didn't expect to get out like that, like I did, and I know fuel was tight because it was about 33 laps, so we kind of had to save a half lap, maybe a lap here and there the whole time. And I felt, when you're kind of out front like that, you don't know what everyone else is doing, and it makes you question yourself if you're doing the right thing. Right before that last pit stop, I had a 5-second lead, and I really babied it and saved gas and gave it 4 seconds. And I did, I think, a really good job, easing into the throttle, and I ended up saving almost a whole lap extra than what I did all race. So good race by everyone, pretty clean. And just feel really good. Like I said, this is one of my most humbling wins. I just feel a lot of gratitude right now and appreciation for my teammates, and hopefully things are looking up for me personally with starting with this win, and get my head back in the game and really give it to them and show them what I'm about next season.
And that's what we love to see. Michael Stroll back in the virtual cockpit now. Dover coming up next, I believe, in the remainder of the season. Well, Short still looking for some action-packed racing. Do you intend to be a part of it?
Yeah. Last week when I came back, I said I was going to run the rest of the races, just to kind of keep my feet warm. I felt good enough mentally to come back, and it got cut short on lap 1 as I panicked. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Dover, and having not run Dover in this car in almost 2 years. So that's going to be another tire saving track, and, making sure, your exits are as straight as possible and not burning up your tires. Hopefully we have a good clean race like we did last night. Like tonight, I know this, in my absence, I haven't really been paying attention, but the last couple of weeks I've been really clean. Real proud of the guys in this league who have stuck through the whole season. And again, I know probably repeat myself and rambling, but I'm just real humble and feel a lot of gratitude and love from the people around me. And this one, I won't forget this one for.
And there we have it. Well, I'll tell you what, Michael, love to see you back on the racetrack. From the bottom of my heart here as broadcasting for this league, a key part of everything that's gone on for me, and a lot of success for this league as a whole. So great to have you back here now. Any final thoughts, anyone else you'd like to thank?
No, I think I hit everybody. Really rooting for Rob Ackley to get this championship for DIR. We actually, as a team, have started to clash off with 2 straight wins, and I'm just going to do everything I can to help him advance from the round of 8, and hopefully he can bring home the championship for himself and for us. That'd be really awesome. I love to see other guys on my team succeed. So we'll get to work on Dover with him and keep pushing forward.
And there we have it, pushing forward tonight. Michael Stroll makes it back on the scene with a victory in Michigan after 100 laps of green flag action. I'll tell you what, thank you for your time and welcoming you back to the sim.
Yep, thanks for all that you do, Dave. And thanks for everyone else that put the work in to put on this hobby that we do. And just say thanks to everybody. You all know who you are. And I'll see you guys next week.
And there we have it, Michael Stroll on his way. Thank you once again for your time. And Michael Stroll, how about that? Back in victory lane. And Don Stevenson, position number 2 after a hard-fought battle there in the podium. And Don, second spot on the night, leading those in the clash. How do you feel after this one?
I was pretty happy with the race. Wish I didn't mess up the pit entry there, or going into my pit stall there on the last stop. It really ruined any chance we had at the victory, and was happy just to get back up to second, because I didn't think I was going to get up there. I mean, I thought once I overshot that pit stall, I was probably looking at like a 4th or 5th place finish, but drove it pretty hard that last run. You know, we had gone the extra lap or 2 throughout on each run on fuel, because it was a very tight fuel window, and made it where we didn't have to save any fuel at all the last run, where I'm sure others may have had to. So, but all in all, happy with the race.
And a very strategy-influenced race here in Michigan. Now, I'll tell you what, how was it for you to manage it? Because it seems like the pit stops were about picture perfect, splitting the race into 2 stops and 3 stints.
Yeah, I mean, it was picture perfect until, like I said, I just overshot my pit stall. I slid through my pit stall there on the last pit stop, and that cost me probably 2 seconds. And I mean, I ended up finishing exactly 2 seconds behind Stroll there. So it would have been interesting. I don't know if I would have been able to get to him, but would have been interesting. It might have been close, but unfortunately wasn't able to make that happen. But all in all, still was proud tonight. Had a very good points night, and puts myself where I got a little bit of room going into next week's elimination race, I believe, at Dover for the top 8. So I mean, obviously don't want to rely on that room. Hopefully we'll have a good run there as well. But we've had a good run in the playoffs here, been running really well, and hope to carry that momentum over to Dover next week.
And putting together a solid points collection before the final race, I believe in the round of 16 here. So the clash coming down to the final few showdowns here. How confident are you in making it to the round of 8 and going from there?
Well, I feel pretty good about the round of 8, because they've updated the points here, and looks like I'm in 3rd right now, and have looks like I have around a 25-point gap back to 8th. So barring any disaster next week, I should be in good shape, to advance to the round of 8. And then, once you get to the round of 8 there, it's, anything goes, more or less. It's, anything could happen. It's a couple races, and whoever gets the most points those 2 races wins the championship. It doesn't really matter what you had done up to this point. It's all going to be in deciding those 2 races. So we'll have as good of a shot as anybody, as anyone in the top 8 there.
And absolutely all or nothing in a few races time, but tonight, Stevenson yet another solid finish, 2nd here in Michigan. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank my beautiful wife that allows me to race every week, and I'm sure she'll be watching the interview and watching the broadcast. Thank the Integrity Racing League, the admin team for both sides here. They've really put on a good league here Monday and Tuesday nights. Mondays here in the Xfinity car, Tuesdays over in the Cup car. Just everything's flowing really well. Thank all the members for continuing to support the league. We had another great turnout tonight. I think we had a good 30 cars tonight as well, and we've been having good car counts on Tuesday nights as well. So I mean, hopefully we can maintain that throughout the full year. And thank you there for broadcasting the races and everything. And that's about it.
And there we have it. Don Stevenson, 2nd on the board here in the 10 questions with Boomer Logan. 200. How about yet another solid finisher of the 47 camp? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And there we have it. Don Stevenson going to be on his way, and the final man in the top 3, Jacob Fife, who comes down to the checkered flag just behind Stevenson in a fierce battle for the podium. Now, Jacob Fife, 3rd man on the podium here tonight. How do you feel after this one?
Man, I feel lucky. I looked at my fuel with 5 laps ago. It's like, oh crap, I might run out of fuel coming to the line. So we had to clutch it the last 5 laps. I thought we had gone far enough in the previous run to kind of have a buffer, but yeah, that wasn't the case. So luckily we were able to hang on to third there. Had a really fun night. I probably a little bit more fuel strategy involved than most would prefer, and I understand that. But we were able to manage our runs, be able to kind of keep our tires under us and our fuel, and luckily we were able to bring it home with the podium, which was much needed for our playoff push here.
And able to bring home a solid finish indeed in the thick of the championship hunt. So what all came down to was the most important factor, early track position or the long run pit stops?
All of it. No, I started further back in the field. I haven't been qualifying very well as of late. So I did take the time to go ahead and get past the initial group of cars to get myself in better track position. But then really after the first 10 laps, it was all about saving saving tires, saving fuel, mostly extra saving fuel. I clutched it for most of the second run there, part of the first run, just to make sure you're getting to those certain points of the race. But then it's just working different lines. The Xfinity car is really good about at least at tracks like this. You can kind of work different lines and different angles through the corners to be able to kind of get better runs and save your tires and do those types of things. So I enjoy that part of it, and we were able to kind of use that to advantage tonight. If I'd have saved my tires a little bit better and/or my fuel, I might have been able to stay ahead of Don. But old Stroll there was in a league of his own tonight, so congratulations to him on the win.
And nonetheless, a win for Stroll, but it's still a podium finish as you are one of the guys in the clash. So every point matters here. And when it all comes down to it, you're right behind Stevenson for those who are eligible for the championship. But with only a few races to go, how important will Dover be for your championship quest?
Oh, I mean, it's extremely important. You want to lock yourself in that top 8 there, which has been one of my goals for the season. We're right where I thought we would be at this point. I think there's still some shuffling to do. You've got some Fun Horse during the playoff push years has had the worst luck. So I expect him, if he advances into the final 8, to be a serious contender. And so, we got to take care of business next week and just make sure we're in that final 8, and then you get another reset of sorts, and then go after a championship hopefully.
And hunting down a title, Jacob Fife in the 36 machine is now podium finish here in Michigan. Any final thoughts? Anyone else you'd like to thank?
Yeah, as always, like to thank you, Dave, for doing this. I'm sure it's another great broadcast tonight. I'll take a look at it later. Obviously, thank everybody for coming out and all the people who are part of the Integrity Racing League. Obviously, the admin team here who runs Monday nights for us does a very good job. And thank you to our sponsors, our Next Level Racing sponsors. Tonight's race was sponsored by our 10 Questions with Boomer. So if you have a chance to check those out, he posts those pretty much weekly there. Get to know our drivers a little bit better in the league, and get to know a little bit more than just what they do on Monday or Tuesday night. So it's a pretty cool deal. Looking forward to tomorrow night as we roll to Atlanta.
And absolutely a great night to come tomorrow, and a great night here on the Monday Night Swing. Jacob Fife, podium finish to start off the week here in the 10 Questions with Boomer Logan 200. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, man. Have a good night.
And there we have it. Jacob Fife going to be on his way, and that will do it. Fife in third, but Michael Stroll gets it done as he burns it down on your frame. And what a race it was. All green all the way. And Michael Stroll for AC Delco comes out on top. There you have it. And Stroll, your winner in an incredible race, as we will be back tomorrow night with the Octane Series and yet another great showdown between some of the best in the Integrity Racing League. I'm David Kreutz, your host for tonight's broadcast. We hope you enjoyed this one as we come back to you tomorrow with all the action live on FTN. Thank you all for watching the Integrity Ignite Series, and this has been a presentation of the 10 Questions with Boomer Logan 200. Thank you all once more for your time. If you enjoyed the action, make sure to leave a like and subscribe on the channel, and we hope you have a great night for the Live on FTN Studios.